Damn if he does, damn if he doesn't. Polo Sports Talking ENT. And I left that one up there on purpose, the governor of California up there, because it's all correlating to several things that we finna get into. Um, I'll wait for a few people to get in up in here. Now, I'm gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna be very limited on some of the things that I say concerning the subject because I think that the United States is really capitalizing off of this. Really, that's just my personal feel. But we're about to get into it. Um, for those of y'all that feel indifferently, what's up, LA Sports Live? I mean, it's hard to please the public, really. I mean, it's not just the females, and really, I don't think he's out to please anybody. Really, that's just that's my that's my personal opinion. But and he shouldn't be. Just like a lot of the people that feel indifferently about this situation. Let's just go ahead and talk about it, okay? For those of y'all that don't understand the severity of the situation that's taking place, pretty much the View uh, TV show, uh, they blasted LeBron for refusing to advocate people to get the V shot against the boogeyman, and they declared, he declared the decision to take the V shot as an individual's own choice. And let me say this before I continue. I agree 100% with Brian. Um, you know, all of the co-hosts that was on there, they called, they called LeBron out, basically saying that um, it's it's his responsibility to convince all the followers to get the V shot and claim it was it's his responsibility. And if he didn't want to speak out, it could hurt his ability to be an advocate for other issues in the future. You know what I'm saying? This is what Whoopi Goldberg said. She said, quote, well, it's kind of funny because if it's not your job, that means that some folks that would be coming to see you play are not going to come see you play because they can't get in. And then she said it's not your job to tell people what to do, but you can suggest that you figured out nobody grew a second head or a tail when they took the shot. I mean, I don't know why that would be hard for folks. and then uh, Anna want to put her 2 cents in, and Anna Navarro, she sat up there and said, and that's the thing, I used to like Anna Navarro, but after she said this, man, she want to put her 25 cents in. She said, you have a responsibility to those people that made you share what you know and to try to get them to do the right thing. I'm sorry, I wish we had private lives. We don't. We are public people with a lot of privileges, and that's the responsibility that comes along with it. No, it don't. That's cap. And then here go Sunny Hostin, which I don't pay attention to what she say anyways. I was really deeply disappointed. He said that just because he has such a large platform. Quote, in America, we talk about personal freedom so much because it it is really the foundation of our country. But what we have to realize is that as citizens, we don't have the right to harm our colleagues and our colleagues' family. You're right, LeBron. Healthy life is not greater than another person's right to a healthy life. Man, are you serious, man? I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. And you see, this is the problem. This is the problem, okay? So this man is coming out backing up guys like Kyrie, like Bradley Bill, like Andrew Wiggins, and as an ambassador of the league, as the face of the league that people still see him as, he's coming out trying to exercise the right thing, our First Amendment right, which is the freedom to do the hell to do and say whatever the hell you want to do, almost at least, and then or freedom of speech that is. But then they try to push this narrative about him, and they using the View to do that. Okay. Um, but whenever he does something else, then they want to go ahead and then they want to blast him for it. That's why I said, damn if he does and damn if he doesn't. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, man, them ladies, man, they have absolutely no clue. Well, at least I would say the last three. I say 4 out of the 5 of them, because Whoopi Goldberg has had a lot of success in terms of being an actress and everything like that. But they don't know what it means to really be at that height of being famous, and at that and the type of pressure that comes along with it. Okay. Then if he says, okay, hey, look, you should take the V shot, or you should go ahead and do it and stuff like that. I guarantee you there'll still be people out there holding signs, out there riding and everything. You can't please nobody out here. I agree with LeBron, man. You know. Now I'm not gonna get in all this stuff about, oh yeah, well, because that it's stupid for me to even bring up, oh well, I don't agree with everything he does or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about here. That's not what we're talking about here. That's not what we're talking about here. You know, um, I find it funny because now they want to double down. They want to double down on this, and the other media want to double down on this. And the reason in LA, you live out there. You don't think that they're doubling down on it by making it national news that the kids 7 through 12 have to get the V shot? This is serious. And see, they want LeBron to advocate something that he feels like it's a personal choice for everybody like that. He's not trying to force anything upon anybody. LeBron's a human being. LeBron has family. LeBron got a wife. He got kids. He got other family members that probably don't feel the same way that he does about this. The View, shows like The View and The Real and stuff like that. I stopped watch. I stopped paying attention to it, I should say, because I would glance at it every now and then, or my wife would pay attention to it, or my mom's would tell me what happened or something like that. But I stopped paying attention to it a long time ago because a lot of those women on there, you know, they they try to fly on biasness a lot, and then also they try to choose one end of the spectrum, if that makes any sense, the political spectrum. Right. Shoot, about what anybody does. I mean, I try to slice it down the middle, and I'm gonna put the link so y'all can come in here and voice your opinion if you want to. I mean, there's no need for me to sit up here and rant about this for 50 minutes or an hour or anything like that because everybody knows how I feel. What? Oh, for real, LA? Are you just joking? But I mean, somebody might laugh at that in terms of animals, but animals carry a lot of the same diseases that humans do. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people are real naive to understand that. That's crazy, man. You got to but they get vaccinated anyways. And that's a whole nother story too. Why do they call it uh, V? You know what I'm saying? Instead of immunization. You know what I'm saying? Immunity. You know what I'm saying? Immunize. You know what I'm saying? Vax. You feel me? So I, I never was quite clear on that. But yeah, man, you're gonna sit up there and you're gonna try to get LeBron to say something that he really does not he can't control. He can't control any of that. Who's AC? Oh, okay. What's up, LA?
Polo, how you doing on a Saturday, my brother?
Oh man, just grinding, man. I'm grinding. I never have a day off, man.
I see, I see, man. Yeah, you know it. that was actually a joke, but you ever heard the old
Oh, okay,
saying?
okay. I thought you were serious about that, man.
Nah, but you ever heard the old saying, there's a lot said in the joke? I mean, it's a joke, but the way that things are look like they're going, that
Hmm.
something like that is not really too far fetched. But yeah, it kind of caught me by surprise when I heard the news. I guess that was yesterday, and he was like, all kids, private or public, will be required to get
Yeah,
this.
B
You know,
shot.
yeah. So you know, it's kind of like one of those situations. Like, what can you do, man? You really don't really have no alternative other than to take your kids off the grid, or a lot of people are homeschooling now a lot more than ever, and
Hmm.
that might be a permanent alternative for for some people.
Well, I'm gonna say this, LA Live. I think we talked about this a while back.
Hmm.
When I first conversed with you and had a conversation and dialogue with you, I was taking on a double role when everything had hit the fan anyway, in terms of the boogeyman, the state of the country and all of that other stuff. And I had to not only do the father role, and then the working role, what I'm saying, actually multiple roles, but I also had to, homeschool uh my daughter, what I'm saying,
Hmm.
my kids and whatnot. And that was because we chose to go the digital route, just
Right.
for safety and everything. And so and see, you learn so much about yourself anyway, because being a father, LA man, you're a teacher anyway. You got to
Hmm.
teach anyways. You know what I'm saying? You got to teach about the game, the game of life and everything, and other categories too. And so, uh, to say the least, LA, I'm gonna say this: homeschooling. I'm not opposed to that, and I actually recommend it too, because if you go back and you go look at the early 1900s, and uh, earlier back in the previous century and everything, a lot of our grandparents
Hmm.
and a lot of our elders, they were taught at home. That my grandmother used to have school in her house, in my great grandmother and my great grandmother's house, and there would be kids there. There'd be a couple kids and everything, but they would get taught everything that they knew in the house. I don't
Right.
know if your ancestors, well, I would say, your great grandmother or something like that. Did you ever know about that?
It's a quite. I've never had that conversation, and on my mother's side, we do have roots deep down south, so that's definitely a possibility. I mean, but when you go back that far, I don't even know, because now it's the law. Your kids have to go to school in some form or fashion. But if we're talking 150 years ago, I don't even know for, per se if that was a law back then that kids have to go receive a public education.
Mm,
But touching back on what you were saying, man, yep. Just for me personally, last year, bro, it was a whirlwind. Kids at home. Um, I was working from home, and I let my wife go to work. Just more so to give her a break on certain days. So
hmm
because it's just all of a sudden you're used to the kids being away for 8 hours a day, and now boom, they're home. And it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. And it was adjustment period. So there, along with you, there was a bunch of us, man, wearing all kind of hats. It's like it was just weird, man. It was just weird. But
I
the homeschooling thing is cool. It's a good option for some people. My only concern about the homeschooling, like long term, man, is like the social aspect, man, because our kids, in a lot of neighborhoods now, man, they don't run the streets like we used to do when we were kids. They don't play as much as outside, and they don't have as much interaction with other kids. So that would be my only concern.
Well, I mean, yeah, the social aspect and everything would definitely be a concern. But I'll tell you this though, LA. I think that because you do need to vibe with people. A lot of people don't understand that the immune system and even internally that actually being around people
Right.
is healthy for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's how kids grow is
Mhm.
being around other kids or other adolescents that are their age or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But if you're isolating your kids or keeping them sheltered or whatnot from talking to everybody and everything, then that's gonna hinder their growth. And see, another thing is too, LA. See, that's what society is trying to program us to do. You know, think about it. All this, you know what I'm saying, limited on what I'm gonna say right now, but all this was a plan. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that if you okay, when they shut everything down, uh, LA,
Hmm.
you think okay, people. I'm talking about when everybody was fighting over toilet paper. That time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, they shut everything down, right? But let's say you go to Walmart, right? You go to Walmart, you go to the store. All of a sudden, they got all this stuff on the floor, like stand 6 feet apart, or
Mhm.
all the stuff about the boogeyman and everything like that. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so y'all had that amount of time to go ahead and that's what makes you feel like, okay, well, damn, y'all sure did get all of that stuff in, kind of quick and kind of fast, and had enough to put in all these tile and put 6 feet. They got it in places like Whataburger and restaurants and everything like that, and
You go to a mall and it's this
yeah,
staircase. You go walk that way, and then other people walk that way in the mall. You
yeah.
got to follow the arrows. It was pretty. It was interesting, man.
But did you ever like LA? Did you look at it and be like, okay, wait a minute, that was kind of quick.
I thought about it, but I'm like, okay, while everybody else was at home, I just give them the benefit of the doubt. While everybody else was at home, these business people, they were, you're always planning for your next move. So they're like, okay, well, these people are going to come back at some point, but now we got to come up. I see what you're saying. It makes you scratch your head, be like, damn, man, was this like a movie, and this is just the next act that was already pre-planned or whatever? It can it does kind of make you think that way, man. But I don't, I don't always like to think that way because it'll make me kind of like I won't say turn my back on mankind, but like I don't I don't want to always think that people are always out to harm me. You know what I'm saying, man. I don't always want to think that way, even though
Mm,
as what we are in this country as black men, that we know we always got to be, the head on a swivel. But I just don't always like to think that way. But yeah, to sum up what you were saying, yeah, it was kind of weird how all this stuff they just had it figured out, planned, and one thing after another. Mall, restaurants, uh, even my wife's best friend, man, she runs a funeral home,
mm-hmm,
and so like let's say like maybe February of 2020,
mm-hmm.
Danielle was like, "Hey, I can't remember what part of the government they came from, but she was like, yeah, man, they came to both of our funeral homes. They
Mm-hmm.
want to know how many people we can keep up in here. I don't know if
Yeah.
I told you this story already, man, but they were planning ahead, bro. They knew something was going to happen. They knew it was going to be mass casualties and all this other kind of stuff. But so that's just the way I looked at it. I was like, yeah, well, these are some of these people's jobs. This is what they do. They plan ahead, and this is their thing. But I definitely hear what you're saying.
Well, Well, I kind of know. Salute to you, Scrub Zero. I see you in the building. Um. Okay, look. Let's take a step back on that because actually funeral homes were bombarded,
Right.
especially when you talk about New York. I know that she experienced a lot of that case. I don't know in LA if your
Mhm.
wife's friend, if she experienced a massive hit when
Oh
that
yeah.
had taken place. But I know that uh, a person that I had talked to, a personal friend that I had talked to that was out there in LA, they said that it had gotten to the point where it was kind of like the '90s at the height of
Yeah. Yeah.
the gang
Yeah.
epidemics,
Yeah.
so far to the point because I know LA, am I lying though? And you could tell these people, there's anybody that's never been to LA or like Compton or anything like that. In some funeral home, you have to do drive by funerals anyway because
You
it
talking
got
about Compton?
yeah,
Compton.
because of the gang because of the gang culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But some people laugh at that stuff, man. But when I was out there, you know what I'm saying? Because my auntie was living on Hoover until they moved out of there because of the whole
Uh,
gentrification thing. But it was already like that because they were doing that. They were starting to do that in New York and all this other stuff and stuff. And I was like, wow, this isn't anything new because that happens in LA a lot. So it's a good thing that I talked to you because you could definitely put that into perspective for some of these people, man.
yeah. It was definitely very definitely very similar because you know everybody if your job is busy, that means you're gonna be busy and you're gonna be steady making money. But
Hmm.
it starts to get to a point. She was telling us it was starting to get to a point where they were getting overwhelmed and they were
Hmm.
starting to lose track of people. People were just getting, they were just getting delivered to um the refrigerated truck in the back, and then they'll come to work the next day, and when they left, they had 10. When they came back, they had 25 or 30.
Hmm.
So it was crazy, bro. It was definitely crazy.
Yeah, and like, see, to get back on what we were
Yeah.
originally talking about, LA. You see, now they're trying to use people. They're trying to use anybody that they can to say, to be an advocate for this or an advocate for that or whatnot. And if that person, I'm proud of LeBron.
Hmm.
I'm super proud of LeBron because one thing, hey, I tell people this, you know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of channels, they'll sit up there and they'll try to, talk down on LeBron, all this other stuff or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go down that road, but
Hmm.
I've always said this. You know what I'm saying? LeBron is super intelligent. He knows. He knows. Um, I'm gonna just I'm gonna just say it like this. He knows
Hmm.
what is taking place and everything. They probably want him to talk on situations about the R. Kelly situation. They probably want
Right.
him to talk about situations that's going on, in national news or something like that, just so that they could go ahead and get. They probably wanted him to be go at Kyrie or Andrew Wiggins or Bradley Beal or some of those other guys. They probably wanted him to talk about the situation where Draymond Green has said and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just proud of these guys, man, for being like, you know what? Listen, that's just like with Michael Jordan. Um, well, Michael Jordan, they got mad at him because they felt like he could because of the
Right.
whole political thing and stuff like that. I agree with him with some of the stuff he said and some of the stuff I didn't agree with. But really and honestly, they don't care about these guys' social stance at the end of the day. They really want to just go see these guys play back. The average fan don't even care what's going on in LeBron's personal life,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as he puts that ball in that hole.
A lot of them actually get turned off when they start talking political or social matters. But like you said, man, I was super excuse me, super proud of LeBron, man, because one thing about LeBron, look, LeBron, he's not right all the time, but at least LeBron, when he steps in it, bro, sometimes, a lot of times, well, most of the times, he'll backtrack and then he'll correct. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Some guys, you know, even when they know they wrong, or even though when they know they screwed up, they too proud to backtrack or say, "Hey, man, I had to rethink this" or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I was glad, man. To be honest with you, I was glad LeBron. And whatever he decides to do or whatever, that's his business. But I was glad to hear him not go the private route, because it's not, it's not really a knock on Kyrie, but it's like, look, man, look, I don't understand why would Kyrie would come out and say at the press conference, it's private, and this and that, and this and that. It's like, look, man, we all know what the situation is. Everybody in the world knows what the situation is. I don't. To me, it kind of seems like you're trying to hide from talking about it, and which I guess yeah, it's his private matter. He doesn't have to, but it's like, man, that's the whole reason why we're here. So in
You
that
wait,
respect,
wait, wait. What you say about Kyrie? Say that one more time.
I was just saying, you know, how LeBron handled it when he just came out. He was asked first. He was asked, and he said, "Yeah,
Mhm.
you know what he said. I took I took care of myself and my family, and these are my reasons why." And then he
Mhm.
said, LeBron said, "But I don't knock what anybody else is doing, one way or the other. I just made a decision for me."
Mhm.
And then when the microphones got put in front of Kyrie at the net training camp, Kyrie, I just felt like it was kind of like I just felt like he was ducking questions when he went the route. We're saying, man, it's just private. Please respect my privacy, and saying that he didn't want to talk about it. And I was just like, man, if you believe strongly in something one way or the other, bro, why are you taking this route talking about it's private when everybody knows what the situation is?
Well. Let me break that down. The reason why is because it's just the same thing. Like when somebody place you under arrest, anything you can or say will be held against you. Man, anything that he's already done came out in the past with, whether it's the Earth being flat or say anything like that, they still hold that against him to this day. So with this being heightened at a magnitude, um, shoot, going so far as to getting the narrative pushed for other guys to to do this and to do that and everything. Any little thing that Kyrie might say, because he don't even have to say anything, and then he's still picking on him just on the fact that the media has already made him a target,
Mhm.
just like they made KD a target, just like in a lot of instances they made LeBron a target, and so I just
Did you
felt
hear
like,
what Wiggins said? Did you hear what Wiggins said?
oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I'm just saying, man, at least
and
Wiggins.
they denied him. You talking about
Well,
the
yeah.
religious rights,
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, but at least when they confronted him, I hate to say it like that, but anyway,
Hmm.
at GSW Media Day, when he was asked about it, at
Yeah.
least he asked the questions, and then he kind of admitted, he's like, yeah, I've kind of backed myself in the corner, but this is what I believe, and I'm gonna stand on it. So I guess I see what you're saying. Wiggins, I mean, Kyrie is a much bigger star than
But
Wiggins.
you saying LA, you wish he would have just been more
Yeah,
forthcoming about it though.
just come out and say, hey, man, I haven't done this my whole life as a child. My family, we don't believe in it, so I'm not going to start now. I would have a little bit more respect for him if Kyrie approached it that way versus just
Mhm.
saying, "Look, I don't want to talk about it." But that's just my opinion. I just wait. I'm just saying. I looked at two people, and they
Mhm.
handle it. Wiggins and Kyrie, they handled the same situation, totally different. One was kind of adversarial, saying, "I don't want to talk about it." And then Wiggins talked about it freely. He kind of made jokes about himself, say, hey, I'm the only one, blah, blah, blah. But I stand on what I say. I stand on what I believe in, and as of right now, I'm not doing it.
Well, well, this is my thing. We also got to look at each of the players' profile and look at who's popular, if you will, and who's
Hmm.
actually the more talented player and who has the better resume, all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Wiggins hasn't really. The only reason Wiggins has been targeted in the past and everything is because of his basketball play or him.
Hmm.
The way he's been inconsistent or he's been, uh, not really motivated to play or something like that when he was in Minnesota and all that other stuff. But with Kyrie, he's constantly been under the microscope, you know, and then it got even heightened to the level when he was playing with LeBron when he was in Cleveland and stuff like that. So he's been used to the media, going at him, and then on top of that, he is an all-star. He is one of the best players in the league and stuff like that. So he's, I think, I wouldn't say he's being adversarial, LA, but I would just say that he's like, okay, look, no, I'm keeping what I got to say, discreet and everything like that. And LeBron did the same thing in the beginning too. He was like, look,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we even knew that he, did what he did, or took the
Hmm.
leash out or whatnot. Remember, LA? He said, okay, look,
He said it's private.
exactly.
He didn't
So
want to talk
why?
about it.
Go ahead, you got it, bro.
That's right. Yeah, he said it was private. And he didn't want to talk about it. But you see, well, I mean, I don't think Kyrie's going to change. Maybe he will. I don't know. But like that kind of goes back to where, and I'm not saying LeBron's right or wrong, but I'm just saying LeBron's not. He's not. He's not. He doesn't have a problem with changing his mind or changing his stance on something. After he's thought about it or whatever. Uh, you know, Kyrie has just because he didn't really say too much. He hasn't even he hasn't even really left the door open to the people to be accepting of him changing his mind or whatever you may want to call it. So I don't know, man. It's just
But I
everybody
don't
has their
feel
own
like
way they want to handle stuff, man. It's up to him.
you know what, LA. I don't feel like he had. This is the reason why I don't feel like he has to leave any type of door open. Okay, let's
Uh,
say, okay. Remember when he was gone. See, a lot of people are still talking about the situation when he was gone,
yeah,
for a minute without contacting anybody or anything like that. But then come to find out, then a lot of people felt kind of dumb knowing that he was helping the family of George Floyd out, by helping them out with certain things, getting them a house, everything. You never know what else he might have been doing too, or whatever. Now, some people might say, okay, yeah, you should have, you should be more responsible and obligated to do everything. But when you're poking at the man and saying this and saying that and stuff like that, and you don't really know the situation because it was a terrible time, man. Like I mean, let's just say it, we could look at George Floyd's past and all that other stuff,
mhm,
go to Candace Owens route and be like, oh yeah, well he was this and he was
mhm,
that and everything, but he was nevertheless, LA, he was still one of our brothers. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Was and so everybody was hurt by it, just like they was hurt about the other guys that had been killed concerning police brutality and police violence, just like they had been hurt by guys in the past. So everybody felt some type of way about this, and nobody was. LA, I know you weren't thinking about basketball or sports. I'm thinking about like, man, shoot, man, I'm trying to get everything right now in terms of our
Yeah,
society and our community.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, were you thinking that way? Because that's how I was thinking.
Well, I'm a Laker fan.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, all you saying that is right. We thinking about ourselves, right? Our community. We're thinking about our people, and that situation right there, the whole world saw that something wasn't right about that. Don't matter about a man's background, past, and all that. Everybody in the world saw that something wasn't right with that. But
I did want basketball to come back because I was a Laker fan and I felt we had a damn good chance to win it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about that. So I mean, but let's say if I was a a Timberwolf fan, I wouldn't give a damn. So my team not even wasn't even in it at that point.
Right,
But yeah,
but
but we did have more. We did. You're right. We did have more pressing concerns. That's for sure.
right, but see that's the thing right there. If that had been one of ours, like one of our, somebody that came from our bloodline,
Hmm.
we know good and damn well we we wouldn't be thinking like that. And I know how LA rock out there, man. Like the riots that y'all done had. You know what I'm saying? Especially man, shoot, you lived through the Rodney King. Me and you, we lived through the Rodney King
Yeah,
era.
for
Man,
sure.
that was a crazy time. People want to talk about the riots that happened that happened like when George Floyd and all that happened, man. Shoot, man, you better go do your history about
Yeah,
what was happening with them LA riots and even the Watts riots.
yeah. Um, what I noticed is, and I'm 46, so I was
Hmm.
definitely around for the LA riots. Watch riots was a little bit before my time,
Right.
but um, I between the LA riots and then after Rodney King and then what happened last year, there was definitely a distinct difference uh from what I observed. LA, you know what the deal was back then. It was actually kind of like for the same reasons, but with this thing that happened last year, man, like in LA when we had the riots back then, bro, it was mostly us. We was in them streets and putting in work, so to speak. But
Right.
this out here, I mean, I think they kind of over politicized the violent stuff that did happen. But last year, man, there was all kinds of people out in these streets, man. Black,
Yeah.
white, candy stripe, all kind of people out in the street.
Some of them were like acting. Would you
Right.
say?
And it's crazy. It's
I'm trying to
crazy
keep it
now, bro.
limited it because LA got a
Yeah.
channel too, man.
It,
And
it's
y'all go
crazy.
subscribe to LA Sports Live, but I'm trying to talk in code here,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. The people with a brain, they know what's up. It's just different, bro, because 92, you
Mm,
know, it is what it is. It was what it was. We saw what was going on. People in the hood was just tired of getting messed over, and so they tore stuff up. But last year is because now we're in the age of social media, and you
mhm.
got so many opportunists, and plus we're in the middle of a pandemic, so everybody's running around with a mask. I understand what you're saying. You don't know who is who. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You don't know who is who, and you don't know what their agenda is. So
Mm.
it was just different, man. It was just to me it was just a little bit, well, really a lot different. But like you said, going back to like what we were talking about, man, LeBron, I guess he's used to it now, bro.
Mhm.
He's just used to it. He's limited on he. I just what we just gotta give him props for saying anything,
Right,
right? Because there were some superstars that's just elected not to say anything.
right.
But-
Yeah,
And this brother,
and it
he has just as much money, if not more, than these other guys, and at least he does, you know, make statements and take a stand on certain things. And he's not afraid to.
right. But see, and see, this is the thing. See, now you have well, let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you something, LA. I'm gonna put you in the spot real quick. Now, Kareem that came out. Shaquille O'Neal, the way he feels and everything like that, and of
Yeah.
course, Charles Barkley, the way he feel about it and everything like that. However, I'm gonna go ahead and single out Kareem and Shaq as opposed to uh, LeBron. You know,
Mhm.
Shaq was like get Kyrie's ass up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Which he had no right to say that. And if you listen to my video about Shaq and Kyrie, you know why I felt Shaquille O'Neal was hypocritical in saying that statement. Do you think that there's going to be some sort of division within LA because LeBron feels some sort of way, or do you think they're just gonna sweep all this up under the rug?
Um, nah, I don't think so, man. LA is super liberal now, bro. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just super liberal now, man. So that's just the way it is. But as far as it's like this. Kareem and Shaq are no longer in the game. And that's not disrespecting them at all. I'm just saying they're no longer in the game. So they can speak freely. They can speak freely. Now, as this thing drags on, you know what I'm saying? As this thing drags on, and if these players who he elected not to go, with what people want them to do, as they start to miss games, as some of these owners start to lose money, as some of these teams start losing games, you know what I'm saying? Then we gonna really see where the rubber meets the road because pretty much all the players are they're staying the active players they're standing in solidarity. Nobody's talking bad about the players who elected not to do it. But when it starts to affect them and their livelihood or whatever, in whatever form or fashion, when it starts to affect them, then we're gonna see if they just keep quiet or if they start talking and be like, hey man, look, you're gonna have to poop or get off the pot one way or the other. I mean that ain't
yeah.
I mean I mean, it's cool right now. It's just preseason, whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm telling you, man, once the money starts getting involved and teams start winning or losing games, I mean, I think I was on with Go Mike about a week ago, and we were talking about it's like, man, you guys think, yeah, Harden and KD, they're gonna support their teammate, bro. That's their brother or whatever. I said, but don't you realize if he misses half the games, that's gonna put more work on them. They're going to have to work a little bit harder, play a little bit more minutes or whatever than they would have to versus if they would have had all three versus the two. So, yeah, it's cool right now because, you know, the season hasn't started going. They haven't started traveling and doing this. But whenever it gets to the point where it starts to affect the other players, then we're going to see, you know, who stands where and how they really feel about that. Because, like it or not, it's not mandatory for the players as of yet. It's not mandatory, but they're still saying that 90 now. Yesterday they said now it's 95% have elected to go with it voluntarily. Voluntarily. Well,
Well,
it's
I'm
not
on the
really.
fence.
It's not really voluntarily, but
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I was about to say I'm on the fence with that. Let me attack this first and foremost
yeah.
because what's his name? Damn, what was that motherfucker? Kenneth Bazemore had came out and basically said he felt like he was forced to do something uh against his will. You
Uh-huh.
understand what I'm saying? And see, and the other reason why I'm on the fence in terms of Kareem, you know what I'm saying, and Shaq as well, is because okay, yeah, you said they're out of the game, LA, but their words still have hold significant power. That's why people are talking about it. So, Kareem, he was on CNN with Don Lemon. So, of course, you know what I'm saying. People are going to talk about that, and plus, he's one of the pillars in our society. I got a lot of respect for Kareem because of the stance
Yeah.
that he took in terms of the civil rights movement and segregation, with him being with Jim Brown, Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
Bill Russell, you know what I'm saying, all the guys that was Muhammad Ali, all of the guys that was in there trying to fight for us, as African Americans. But in this
Right.
situation, man, I really have a different a different opinion than Kareem does, even though his opinion is that, and some people may disagree when I say this, LA. His opinion is really validated, and then when you talk about LA, you know what I'm saying. Anytime Kareem speaks, or Magic
Mhm.
speaks, or Jerry West speaks, even Michael Cooper or James Worthy or any of the other guys, man, you know people are gonna listen and they're gonna take it to heart.
Yeah, for sure. I think what I was trying to say is there might be players right now who feel like Kareem and Shaq, but they just have, we just haven't heard them say it just yet. You know, because if I'm just, I mean, that is if you believe what the NBA says. But if the NBA says 95% of the guys have gone along with it voluntarily, they weren't forced. Even we know that if they want to get paid, they got to do it. But still, that lets me believe that at some point, some people are going to get irritated with the extra distraction. I mean, that's just normal, man. You on the team and you have a common goal and whatever, and you're going to be with each other for 6 or 8 months out of the year. You want as little distractions as possible, and that's why I was just saying, man. Like right now, everything's cool. We haven't really even started yet, but once this season starts, man, and like I said, this dude started whoever, because it's not just these two, but some of these players start missing games or whatever, and you know how we do, man. We start looking over at, if it's a person causing problems in your team or on your job or whatever, and you feel like it's not necessary, you're gonna start looking at them and be like, hey, man, what's up?
But see, listen to this though too, LA. And if you go back to the video that I made in
Mhm.
terms of Kyrie and the situation with Shaq, man, I want you to go back and go look at that. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
look what the Brooklyn Nets owner size what he had to say.
Mhm.
Nothing he said in his statement correlated to, okay, well, health or risk factors or uh, his own belief. You know what it was about? It was about basketball, winning championship, uh, just winning. And he wasn't thinking about anything else. And in his statement, he made it seem like that's all he was concerned about, was just winning
Touch,
championships
maybe he
and
didn't
stuff
want to
like
touch
that,
that
and having
ball.
a body and having a body, on the floor. But as a owner, you know what I'm saying. I expected a lot. I expected better from him because okay, you should be like, okay, well, you know, he doesn't he feels differently about this and everything like that. From a personal perspective, don't say, okay, yeah, you know what the goal is. That's to
Yeah.
win championship, which it probably is ultimately. Our organization, they do want to bring a chip there, but we also talking about somebody there that's a different human being from you.
Mhm.
Look, my heart ain't the same as LA Sports Live
Right.
heart. My body and my metabolism might be completely different. My health issue might be different from his health issue.
Mhm.
And I don't think people are looking at it like that. LA Live, I think, man, just take the damn shot, get out here, play basketball and everything. Hey, if he dropped dead or something happened or something like that, oh well, next man up. I think a lot of people think like that.
That man, I would think I mean, to be fair, I haven't heard Shaq's comments directly, and I haven't heard the owner of the Nets
Go
comments
look
directly.
it up, man.
But I can't really speak on it. But
Hmm.
I mean, this stuff has been going on for we'll get closing on almost 2 years. So most people, I believe, have done a fair amount of their own research. Um, the Nets owner, like I said, I don't know what he said, but it's like
I,
maybe he didn't even want to touch that part. I mean, because that's obvious. We know the different health ramifications that's involved in this, but maybe he just wanted to steer clear and just say, "Hey, I'm gonna just speak on basketball. I'm not even gonna touch that subject because that's not really his lane. His lane is owning a basketball team and trying to make some money, right?"
okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, look, LA Live. I'm gonna go over it with you right
Okay.
now if you got a little bit of time. Look, okay, this is what he said. Okay, and this is
Mhm.
from the New York Post. Okay, he said, "quote So Kyrie talks about it as sort of a personal choice issue, which I respect, but we all need to not forget our goal." And then he continued. He said, "What is our goal this year? What's our purpose this year? It's very, very clear. Win a championship. And the championship team needs to have everybody pulling the same direction." He said this too. He said, quote, "So I hope to see Kyrie play fully and win a championship together
I
with
think
everybody else, with all his teammates. That's the best outcome for everybody." LA, LA.
he
Come
was
on, man. You
pretty
gotta be
clear.
with me on that, man.
I think he was pretty clear.
You,
you know,
you understand what I'm saying? He
yeah. I
he
mean, but Paula, what difference would it have made if he would have said, "Yeah, I understand. Uh, everybody has their own personal right and the reason why they feel the way they feel." But really, what difference would have had that had made? I mean, the dude made it pretty clear how he thinks and how he feels and what he wants. He wants Kyrie's ass out there to play. It would be different. Check this out, Paulo. It would be different, right?
uh-huh.
The shot. I mean, let me stop saying that. It's not mandatory for players. It's mandatory for everybody else.
Hmm.
Team officials, the people who work
Yeah.
at the stadiums and stuff. It's mandatory for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, because you were LA. This is everybody know. I got everybody know. LA Sports Live was the first one to break that story. I remember you, but go ahead though.
Um, so it's mandatory for everybody except the players. But
Hmm.
I'm just saying, at some point, if what the NBA is saying is true, that 95% of players have decided to go in that direction, and then Kyrie starts missing games and they start losing games and all this other kind of stuff, and the owner starts losing money,
Hmm.
at some point, everybody's going to be looking at Kyrie and it's going to be like, I don't want to keep saying Kyrie because it's going to be other players too. But
Right.
at some point, they're going to be like, bro, what is up? If it was the reverse, and if it was 95% of players have not complied, then the situation would be different. But because he's got 95% of his contemporaries with a differing opinion, I
Mm.
think it's just going to be kind of hard for him to stand there and say, "Hey, respect my right,
Oh,
respect my choice."
oh,
When
okay,
it's nine
okay,
versus one.
o- okay. You opened up a can of worms, LA. Then let me ask you this, then, and you know where I'm
Uh,
going with this. Okay, you know where I'm going with this, right?
mhm,
So you saying that right there, right?
mhm.
Do you think that Bron and other players like a KD or like a Draymond or somebody like that is gonna come out and have different feelings of, instead of saying what they say, and then they're gonna be like, come a little bit later or something like that? Do you think they gonna feel differently?
Yeah, I think it's some that feel that way now. That feel that
Uh
way now. They just don't want to do it. They don't want. They don't want to be the first one out to say it. I
huh.
mean, because it, it's like this: if you got a team of 15 players
Hmm.
and then you only got one, it's kind of like, man, like you been on jury duty. All right,
Oh yeah.
I've been on jury. I was on jury duty one time on a murder case, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah,
kind of controversial, but
yeah.
You got
Mine wasn't a murder. Mine was a. I had to do it. I actually had to do it twice. Mine
uh
was on a murdering and not on a murder, on a theft and on a robbery.
um so you know how it is. We get to deliberations. We got 12 people, and
Yeah,
after a couple hours, it's 11-1.
right.
So we're like, okay, we're gonna respect you and how you feel. Let us know what can we do. What can we do to explain stuff to you?
You want me to buy you some cigarettes? You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean, what can we do to get everybody on the same page so we can
Order
get
you
the
some
hell out of
pizza.
here? Yeah, so we all can get. I mean, it's not that we all want to go home, but it's like, okay, man, we only gonna let so much time go by. It's 11 of us, one of you. Something's got to break, and it ain't gonna be us because we got the majority. I mean,
LA done brought him all the food in the world. He was like, look, man, we even got something waiting for you after this, man. He's still like, nah.
yeah, I mean, that's why I say, man, because it was like I said, it was interesting how Wiggins handled it because he kind of laughed and he's like, yeah, man, I kind of painted myself in the corner. I know
Hmm.
this a lot of people are not gonna like it, but this is how I feel. So I mean, I can't help but believe somebody's gonna. I mean, just imagine. Look, we all know how Draymond is.
Hmm.
So I mean, if the Warriors start struggling, Clay is not back till February.
Hmm.
The Warriors are out of playoff contention because they're losing every other game. The Wiggins, they're missing that 18 points a game.
Hmm.
You don't think Draymond's gonna be like, hey, bro, come on, go get. I mean, even though they'd be like, go get a fade card, something, bro, something. I mean, come on, the gig is up. I mean, for people to think that that's not gonna happen, man, I think is I I I don't see how that's not gonna happen. Just put it that way. I mean,
Right.
there's money involved. Like look at Bron. Even though I know he wouldn't look at it like this, or at least I don't think so. But
Hmm.
like he's in year 19. Look at the team that the Lakers supposedly have. It's on paper, it don't mean nothing until they win games. But he's running out of opportunities. So if Anthony Davis was like, I ain't doing it, you LeBron knows I only got a year and a half, 2 more years max to where I'm going to be at my peak
Uh-huh.
for our decline. You don't think LeBron's gonna be thinking in his head and eventually gonna be like, nigga, what is the deal gonna be? If you're not gonna be in with us, you're gonna have to go somewhere else.
Okay, so you saying like if it was okay, just because it's Kyrie and he over there in Brooklyn, it's not really as important. But if it was AD or if it was Westbrook,
Well, I'm just saying, if there's a belief that players are always gonna be, in solidarity and not
hmm
speaking is and not speak, against each other. I don't think that's the case because everybody's playing for different reasons or whatever. Everybody's got different situations. The bronze window is closing, so he's gonna want all his bullets in the chamber.
right, right. No, that's no. That's facts. I understand where you come
I mean, so that's what I think. The owner of the Brooklyn Nets was saying. I mean, he didn't really speak on the health aspect, but he's like, look, man, I want to win. He knows that they're gonna get clowned like hell if they lose. He
from.
wants
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah,
He's a
yeah. He
foreigner,
looking
right?
at it.
This guy, he's a foreigner, right?
Yeah,
The
he's
guy who owns the
Asian,
Nets, yeah, he's a foreigner. So they have a little bit different mentality. He wants to
especially
succeed,
Asians.
bro. Yeah, he wants
And
to.
the Asians are real strict because the Asians put a in China. You heard what they did in China, right?
Mm-mm.
Well, they put a restriction on computer internet gaming and computer usage for the youth.
Oh, okay, okay. I did hear something about that.
Yeah, and you can only be on there for so long, because what are the Asians about? They're about education,
Yeah,
they're about
bro.
progress, and they
Yeah,
definitely about business and work, man. And they like to do things in a timely
right,
fashion. And they
right,
cutthroat about it too. It's sad to
right.
say they cutthroat about it too. So I definitely agree with you when you're talking about the foreign aspect and the
Yeah,
mentality.
he want the guy. He wants to win, man. He wants to be the next Mark Cuban or the next Jeannie Buss or whoever. So
Yeah.
he doesn't. He wants to win, and I don't know, man. It's I hate to see. I don't want to see nobody get forced to do something they don't want to do. But I think the bottom line, I think in life, even in this country where we have so many freedoms that other places don't have,
Hmm.
but even in this country, man, there's just certain things that you got to do that that you might not necessarily want to. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I think that's just kind of like the way it is. Like you mentioned, I think I heard your video earlier or yesterday about the Patriot Act. I mean, that's clearly a violation of people's privacy,
Yeah.
but it's legal. The government can spy on your ass whenever they deem necessary, and you can't do anything about it.
But see, and see, LA, man, I don't know if you got anybody, in that live here in Texas or live in the South, but
Mhm.
everybody that, man, because I live in Dallas, right?
Mhm.
It If you go like about a month ago, if you would have been out on the road and out on the highway and stuff like that, you would have seen a whole bunch of uh, people from two states in particular. You've seen them from New York and you've
Mhm.
seen them from California, and they were coming out here for land. I think I already talked to you about it. They coming out here for land, and they coming out here. A lot of people are coming out here for for weapon, guns and stuff like that. Because I think
Uh-huh.
in 19 states they've changed the law to 21, if I'm not mistaken. But they've altered the gun laws and stuff. And but a lot of them are coming over here for the land and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, Texas has a lot of rural areas and stuff like that. But see, if you come inside the city and stuff like that, uh, LA, and you know what I'm talking about, living in a metro city like LA. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
If you come into Dallas, okay, they play a whole different, ball game in some areas. But see, if you go out like on the outskirts in the country, stuff
Mhm.
like that, they play a they play their ball game. They play by their own kind of rules and stuff like that. Even to the point where, and I want you to go subscribe to this channel because he's from California too, and he was putting me on a lot of game too. My guy, Town Biz. I don't know if you've ever heard of his channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, Town Biz. But see, he was putting us on game in LA. He said, man, look, he would advise that everybody. Shout out to Town Biz too. He said that he would advise everybody to get a no trespassing sign for their house or for their land. See, if you go out in the country or you go out in the rural areas, man,
Mhm.
a big percentage of them got no trespassing on
Yeah,
their property.
yeah.
And,
I,
and think
I
about
hear what
and
you're
think
saying.
about why I'm saying it. And just think about why I'm saying it. I'm talking in code to you, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you
Hey,
understand what
hey.
I'm talking
I understand what you're saying. Look, a lot of people, man, when they talk about certain issues or whatever,
about.
they kind of come from a left coast or right coast perspective or a big city perspective,
Mhm.
but they're forgetting that most of America is right there in the middle, and how, like you say, how they operate there is a lot of times not on your own, but you have more room and space to kind of operate your own way. So the rules are different
I mean, I don't know if the rules are different, but people just operate different because they can. So the atmosphere is just different. I understand what you're saying, man. I haven't been to I haven't been to Big D, but I used to own a couple of properties in H Town,
No,
so
okay, okay,
I've
okay,
been through there.
right.
Yeah, man. But it's interesting. Man, it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. How this deal with Ben is going to play out, man. You know,
Well, I mean, they're already talking about, holding it, holding his money. They talking about holding his money. They talking about holding Kyrie's money. Kyrie, I think, is if they hold his money because of the home games and stuff, it's 400,000 each game or whatever, and then it'll total out to 34 million. And for Ben Simmons, it's the same thing with him too. They're willing to, hold it out and everything. Me, I'm I'm gonna tell you like this, LA. I've talked about it before, but it's kind of like what you were saying about backtracking. Now Joel Embiid, he at first he wanted him back and everything like that, but
yeah,
now he's sitting
yeah,
up there. He's saying, okay, now you are very unprofessional and all this other stuff. Me,
yeah,
me personally, I feel like all of them should have just kept. And I'm a Sixers fan. I feel like all of them kind of shot all they self in the foot. Doc Rivers really did not. I truly believe that Doc Rivers did not want to answer that question when right after the playoff series because LA,
right.
you know how it is in LA, they gonna come firing off with questions when you don't want to talk about it after a tough loss and stuff like that. So I felt like Doc shouldn't have said nothing. I don't feel like Embiid shouldn't have said nothing. He should have just kept everything in house. Probably wouldn't be to this point. Even if he does feel like Doc Rivers coaching is suspect, which it is. I don't want Doc as coach anymore. LA.
Yeah,
I think he's ran his course, and I think it's time to get Sam Cassell an opportunity. I said that numerous times.
yeah. I mean, with Embiid coming out saying what he said, it kind of leans to what I was saying earlier. Like, okay, now he's fed up. He's fed up. He's tired of asking. You see, the thing is, man, Ben is not there. Uh, Joel is the de facto leader of the team. It's his team. It was his team, even if Ben is there. But anyway, so now
Mm.
Ben is not there. So it's Joel's team. He's the best player, and he's a brother that's not originally from here. So he just sees the bottom line. So he's just thinking like, hey man, you don't want to be here. All right, cool, whatever. He can't, because then he said I can't tell the management what to do or what to say or whatever. He said that's not my job. I think Embiid said something like that. So, but based upon what I heard Embiid say, he's done with it. He's tired of talking about it. He's just ready for there to be a resolution one way or the other. And even though they don't say it, I'm telling you, Paul, some of the other guys are more than likely feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shoot. I look. I'm like this, man. I never said. Look, if you're gonna show up, man, and I hate to say it like this, LA, and I hate to be like this because I don't believe in being fake and I don't believe in being phony. But man, okay, everybody feels the way that they feel about a certain job.
Mm,
Man, if you don't like that place or whatever, man, fake the funk for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. And in this instance, when we're talking about basketball, man, get your value up.
mhm,
This is what I would have did, LA, knowing the way that me and you probably think. Look, I hate this organization, but you know what? I'm gonna put up at least 2,000 jumpers a day. I'm gonna have that.
mhm,
I'm gonna have that Kobe killer instinct or whatever. I'm gonna be in the gym, just shooting, 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 working on whatever. Come out flaming these motherfuckers and doing whatever I need to do. My value is up. Now teams are reaching at me because okay, man, we don't care about his price tag. We want Ben Simmons now that he got that jumper. Because now that he got the jumper, now okay, his game we could rely on him in the fourth quarter. Now he could be a threat on the outside. Now he could be a threat at the end game, late game situation. I guarantee you this, LA. If Embiid said he didn't want to play for the Sixers no more, I bet you everybody would be reaching and grabbing for Embiid just off the fact that they can depend on Embiid. He's a hard worker and
Right.
he's reliable. He don't come with that diva bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're right. But there's there's nothing Ben can do at this point. It's too late to change that the narrative about him, all the stuff that people said about him and his game and everything. It's really
Because
too
I
late.
think you said you LA, you said you feel like Ben could get better.
Well, if he wants to, it depends on him. I mean, because we've seen other players struggle in the past.
Mhm.
You remember Kyle Lowry?
Yeah,
Kyle Lowry just got $30 million or whatever it was from Miami Heat. He's like
yeah, for
34,
my
35. But there used to be a time and place where Kyle Lowry couldn't buy a shot in the playoffs.
mm-mm.
He would do great in the regular season. The playoffs come, he would freeze up.
Yep.
So I mean,
Especially when he faced Brown and
yeah, man. So
him
I
and
mean,
DeFrozen.
I mean, I believe Ben could get better, man. But he's just of this generation. They just operate different. They operate differently, man. And uh, they feel like, well, it's too much feelings involved for one. But he feels like, hey, his time is up. He's ready to go. He wants to get out of Philly. He doesn't care how it looks. Um, and that's just the way it is. So, uh, one thing that really sucks about it is like that deal. Well, not really a deal, but Sacramento. I'm
Mhm.
like, the one thing I don't like about it is how some teams are playing hardball with the Sixers. But obviously, De'Aaron Fox is the best player on the Kings.
Mhm.
That would be a very fair trade then for De'Aaron, but they're not even offering De'Aaron. They want to offer Buddy Hield and this, that, and the other. And I'm like,
Marvin Bagley.
or they want to offer Bagley, and I'm like, clearly the fair trade will be for Fox. And I don't really buy this stuff where people are saying that his trade value is trash. I mean, he
Well,
has.
Aldridge had came out. David Aldridge had came out and basically said that no team, no team wants to give you first four four first rounders
Right.
and some picks for Ben Simmons. Nobody wants to take that kind of nobody wants to take that kind of risk right now, knowing that what he brings and stuff. Then on top of that, you talking about the price tag already, LA. I think that's why they didn't really want to move on it in terms of the Lakers and
Yeah.
stuff because of what he's gonna bring. And you already know we talked about this when James was on there and everything. Man, LA, you trying to tell me you want to bring that diva bullshit already there? No, y'all focus this year is to shut people up
Right. Right.
because they already doubting LA like these guys are not gonna do nothing and all the age and all that stuff. I'm like, man, these guys they out there working on their game and Westbrook brings a whole different feel to that team anyways in terms of the work ethic and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just it's crazy. It's just like I said. It's just gonna be interesting to see how it all ends up, where he's gonna end up. I don't think he'll ever play for the Sixers again. But
I,
we'll see. What you think?
well, if he comes, uh, you know, I, people are gonna have that in the back of his mind, in the back of their mind about what he did, and let's say he does have a change of heart, they talk it over and everything like that. It's always gonna be in the back of their mind, like, okay, this guy could potentially do something like this again. Right now, you already know what I think, LA. Maxi is my guy.
Yeah.
He from here. I've seen him. You know, he from Texas. Plus, I watched him and Quickly and the boys at Kentucky together and stuff out there. And Maxi's hungry. And Maxi wanted. He did solid in the summer league. Man, he wanted. You want a guy like him. You know, he ain't. Right now he young and everything like that, and he hungry. He's probably internally thinking like, Shh, I'm ready to take your lunch, just like a lot of these guys that are coming out of this draft feel. I don't know if you've had a chance to really watch summer league and stuff, but these guys,
Mhm.
man, they they're really ready to take the heart out of a lot of people's chests. It's just like when you look at a guy like John Morant and everything like that, man. I don't care if you Steph Curry. Nigga,
Right.
I'm here to have dinner with you. Where's my A1 at? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna cut knife and fork your motherfucking ass right now. And see, that's how Maxie is. He said, man, I don't give a fuck if this is game 7 or not. Nigga, Trey Young, oh well shit. And that's what I need. Not Ben Simmons, oh man, we can't rely on this motherfucker in the fourth quarter. Who you thinking B wanna play with? And B
Yeah.
was playing less than 100% on a torn meniscus or whatever. He's still out there
Right.
giving it his all, criticism or no criticism,
Right.
and that's
And
what LA want.
yeah.
That's why LA shit. We don't give a fuck if LeBron in his 40s or getting ready to get in his 40s or not. Nah, he's still working out hard as hell on his game.
Mhm. Mhm. And we know,
That-
and we
That's
know what he.
Kobe torn Achilles. Nigga,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna shoot this
Yeah.
motherfucking free throw, nigga, and I'm gonna walk back to the bench on my own. I don't need your help. That's what Philly wants.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not gonna get that with Ben, unfortunately.
Yeah, not
Unfortunately, man.
unfortunately, man.
Yeah.
It's a different society. Now, I will say this though. I'll say this, LA. A lot of people do feel like he would be a good fit for LA or for Golden State. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with it, but some people really feel like he would, being that he would be happier out there in California. But w- you also have to look at the flip side. Is he going to be focused
Yeah.
out that way?
But you know what, Polo? I really believe that this situation with him
Hmm.
and I have nothing bad to say about LeBron James, Clutch Sports, or Rich Paul. I have nothing bad about to say about them at all because they saved the Lakers. So I can't can't say nothing bad about the brothers. And plus, I'm just not gonna knock a black man what he's trying to do. But the situation might be a little bit bigger than what we're talking about, man, because maybe they're just deciding, yeah, Ben wants to make a move, he wants to make a change or whatever, but it might be a little bit bigger than what we're thinking, man. They've been at the forefront of this player, Clutch Sports and LeBron and them and all that. They've been such at the forefront of this player empowerment thing
Hmm.
that both sides are kind of like digging in. Ben and his management, we want out of here. We're not coming back to play.
Hmm.
Then the Sixers are like, well, we're not going to pay you, and we're not going to take a subpar deal. So if the Sixers cave, they're going to look bad, and then it's going to make other players think, look, I can force my way out of
Yeah,
wherever,
that
wherever.
that's a good point. Yeah, you bring up, man. You hitting on facts because I feel like the NBA was already paying attention. I'm talking about in terms of the players.
Right.
They were paying attention to guys like Le'Veon. They were paying attention to Zeke. They were
Mhm.
paying attention to those guys. You know what I'm saying? And I know, we understand that football is a little bit different, but at the same token, some of these guys were really looking at it at the aspect that they, from the perspective that they were looking at it, because they're like, okay, wait a minute now, I'm not going to be one of these players blood, sweat, and tears and stuff like that. I'm giving such and such to the organization and stuff. But
Right.
I get hurt or something like that, and then next thing you know, y'all y'all sweep me up under, and I don't get my money. You must be crazy. But in this instance, Ben Ben is he shot himself in the foot, and I said it to you time and time again. LA, nobody put just like with Kyle Kuzma, nobody put a gun to your head to sign that contract. You had a choice to say, okay, look, I don't like it out here. If your relationship has always been spotty with
Mhm.
Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, in terms of his work ethic and everything, he clearly left you in the dust or with his mentality as far as getting serious in the playoffs and everything.
Mhm. But Polo, that goes both ways. Nobody forced Ben to sign that. Nobody forced Philly to give him that.
Well, they were under the
They know his game because you know the game. You know what the game is with the players. The players, they're after the money first, and then
yeah.
once they get that bag, then they try to exercise the other rights. So Ben, if they give the money, he's gonna take it, and then he said, "Okay, now I got the contract; it's guaranteed. Now I'm gonna get or I'm gonna be where I want to be." This is what I think it is now, man. The players, they figured out, or this is how they approach it. They want to get, they'll get the money, they'll take the money from whoever. But once they get that contract, then they'll start flexing and start making decisions on who, how, where they want to play. And I just really think this whole
but
situation is bigger than just like Ben or whatever.
well, yeah,
The
it's a
players
lot of stuff.
empowerment thing. Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that it's beneath the surface and everything like that. That it's eventually probably gonna come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if it came out once Ben Simmons leaves and stuff like that. But I want to go back to what you had just said. Okay, I'm in agreement about what you're saying, but see, that's stealing money. It reminds me of it reminds me of DeMarcus Lawrence with the Cowboys.
Uh-huh.
Remember they had that great he had that great year. He was all pro and everything. With they were leading the league defensively and everything up until they lost to y'all, the Rams and all that.
Mhm.
Got that money. He got that money, and then the media, everybody, the fans was all on him and stuff, saying that, oh well, you're not playing the same once you got that contract and everything like that. And they did the same thing for Zeke too. And see, he got that money. He got that money. My baby crying. Oh, he got that money, man. And then
Mhm.
it was just like, okay, I got my money. All right, I'm just gonna scale back when it should have been the polar opposite. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
LA man, I hate to shut it
Yeah.
down, man. I gotta get to my kids and stuff. We gonna pick up on this though. But what's your last point though? Go ahead, bro. You can get that one out.
Yeah, man. I'm good. I was just gonna say, man, it's gonna be interesting. You know, it's gonna be interesting within the next week or two to see who's gonna blink first. It's gonna be Ben. Is it gonna be the 76ers? We'll see.
Man, either way, man, I want to see uh some good basketball. If he's out
Yeah,
there, I
yeah,
want 100% effort. If he's not out there, we gotta make do with what we got, man.
right, for sure, for sure.
But man, hey, y'all subscribe to my boy LA Sports Live. Definitely got a great channel, man. He's my brother stopping through, man. I thank him for pulling up. Also, like this video, share it, subscribe. Also, hit the notifications too, so that you're able to get my videos. Until then, man, it's Polo Sports talking ENT, man. LA, man, you have a good one, and all of my subs, y'all have a good one too.
All right, Polo, appreciate that, my brother.
No problem, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Later.